You're watching Monty TV. I'm Jackie Karsh. Sitting down now with John Chambers. He's the founder and CEO of purpose-driven venture firm JC2 Ventures. John, it is always a pleasure to have you here.
Jackie, it's a pleasure to be back with you. I thought I'd been to more of these sessions than anyone. I understand you've been to 10 of them. I've just been to 9, so you got me by 1.
All right, so JC2 Ventures has backed startups like, Nile, Unifor. What's your top advice for founders navigating growth and fundraising?
Well, I think 3 or 4 issues. First, in terms of our focus area, you do 2 or 3 things really well and realize where your strengths are, your wheelhouse, if you will. For me, it's all AI and it's all cybersecurity. I have 25 companies, 11 unicorns already, which is pretty good. I've had 2 of the top 5 exits in 22, 23, and 24, and it's been tough markets for VCs in terms of M&A to strategic sales and OpenGov and Pensando, defense sales, Dedrone, Rubrik went public. So we've been very fortunate in a tough market. But I do pattern recognition. So my top advice for a founder, or where do I invest, get a business market transition going on enabled by new technology. Nothing bigger than AI. Second thing I look for is the CEO. I wish we were all created equal, but they're just CEOs. They have a spatial vision, et cetera, within it. So I look for a visionary CEO who knows what she or he knows and knows what they don't, and who truly wants to be coached. Then I shortcut it. I'm all business to business. So I go straight to common customers, and I know most of the enterprise or service providers customers in the world, and I say, what do you really think of this company? Are they tactical or strategic on it? And then I position, where are they versus their competition? Can they quickly nail what is their differentiation today and in the future? Or does it take them 15 minutes and they're still talking to me about the company and I don't know what they do? And so teaching that is key. And by the way, I wasn't good at that when I first started either. So it just is part of a learning type scenario. This conference is amazing at creating that opportunity for me, not just to share lessons learned, but also to learn from these young startups and from Jamie and Samant and the March team that are just amazing. So it's the most valuable conference I go to every year.
AI is it's the buzzword, right? Everybody wants to have it, wants to use it, and then apply it.
Yes.
What excites you most about AI and its multi-use in all the varying sectors?
Well, first on the last question that you asked, AI will do exactly what the internet did. The internet changed every aspect of our lives, the way you work, live, learn, and play. When I said that in 1993, people said, you're moving around zeros and ones at Cisco, John. It's not going to change our lives. And let all of us understand that. I think the same thing will happen with AI, except it will probably have 5 times the speed, which has good and bad implications, and 3 times the impact. In short, it changes everything. If you're a large established company, or if you're a startup, if your foundation isn't AI, you're going to be left behind.
Well, you can't talk about AI without talking about regulation or lack thereof.
Yes.
Do you have any concerns when it comes to regulation?
Yes, all of the above. First, regulation, by the time government gets around to regulating it, their issue has either been solved or they're on their different issues. So I think government has to be very careful. Same thing on businesses. You owe an obligation for how you're going to help your employees as you go through AI, you get the productivity. Are you increasing their skills? Are you positioning for the future? Do the universities in K through 12 have the courage to train how they're training our young people, or do they train them like their parents were? And they're not going to be able to get jobs when you get out. You have to rethink everything. Now, anytime you talk about change, Jackie, it gets people uncomfortable, including me. But we've got to learn to deal with it and then say, here's where we're going to go. Here's how we get there together.
When we're looking at a global perspective, you have a lot of vested interest in India. Are you still very bullish on that market?
I am the biggest bull on India ever. Shireen Baum, who's your counterpart in India, that is really, really good. And she runs a lot of the startup stuff there, CNBC affiliate on it. I go every year. We look at what they're doing. I think India, as I predicted 5 years ago, will be the #1 economy in the world. Nobody even talked about it. And in front of Prime Minister Modi, when he came to visit President Biden, and they did the summit on the relationship between U.S. and India being the most strategic in the world, that was what we did at U.S.-India Strategic Partnership Forum, outlined as a goal 8 years ago. So yes, I'm a huge bull in India, but mainly I'm also a bull about what India and the U.S. can do together, not just business to business or trade, but changing the lives of each citizen in each of our countries in a way we're just beginning to imagine together.
The average American, how can they kind of look at AI and don't see it as a threat?
So first, you've got to deal with the world the way it is, not the way you wish it was. My parents are both doctors. They taught me that very early on. And you've got to realize there are valid concerns that each of us have about the changes and how do we have an impact on it. But it's going to change with or without us. So let's get ahead of it, understand what are the benefits, what are the challenges. Let's make sure we change our education system so we train the young people for where the jobs will be, but let's also look that they need to retrain my generation as well about how do we fit in that environment. So I think I tend to look not at the glass half full or half empty. I tend to look at the glass, and this is going to be very positive overall, but there's some very valid changes we have to make. And for each of us, including CEOs, or maybe even especially CEOs of small companies or big companies, it's going to be a challenge for them. So I think they've got to approach it with the realism where we're going and have the courage to change. Have the courage, Jackie, to dream what's possible instead of looking at all the negatives and sitting back and doing nothing and saying I can just continue or be in denial. Go out and dream what's possible.
John, always a pleasure sitting down with you.
Jackie, it's a pleasure. Look forward to number 11 for you next year and number 10 for me.